Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And it is a beautiful, I'm looking up at the sky, a beautiful Saturday morning outside. I was sitting outside with the dogs. I went and I got a cup of coffee, and I was sitting outside with them. You guys will never believe this. It is currently 8:53 a.m. So, we went out to dinner last night with Alex's whole family for his grandma, his abuela's 89th birthday. I did my video about that yesterday. And we had a great time at dinner, and then we went over to his tia's house last night for a little bit. And then we came home, and he's going to a wedding today with a friend of his from high school. He's her date for the wedding. And I am going to the Horror Hound Festival, which is a scary movie festival. I'm so excited. I'm going with my friends Melissa and Jason. And then we'll probably go to dinner or something after that. And so he was getting his suit ready to take with him today because he had to go do some meetings and stuff, and then he was going to go to this wedding. And so I was laying in bed, and I was actually watching Scream because I'm going to see the Scream panel today, all the actors in Scream. And so I was sitting there watching it on my phone on Netflix, and I turned it off after like 5 minutes. I was like, I'm going to bed. And he said, are you going to go to bed for the night? And I go, no, I'm just going to sleep for like an hour, and then I'll get up and do my vlog. Well, like that was at like 11 o'clock, and at like 1 o'clock in the morning, he woke me up, and he was like, babe, you have to go vlog. And I was like, oh yeah, I know. And I said, just 10 more minutes. I'm like the king of just 5 more minutes, just 10 more minutes. And then so then I woke up, like, I don't know, a couple more times throughout the night, but like at 5:20, something like that, I got up, and I was like up for the day. I went and I vlogged, and I was like wide awake. I went and got a cup of coffee. I was feeling like hot coffee this morning. So, I mean, I wasn't feeling like hot coffee. I was feeling like hot coffee sounded good. So I went and got a cup of hot coffee, and you guys, this is so funny. I have this shirt that I wore to dinner last night on with black sweat shorts on. It's such a look, let me tell you. But I'm so relaxed and in such a great mood today. And so I thought, you know, I want to make some videos this morning. I have a couple hours before I'm getting ready to leave. I have to leave here at 11 o'clock. So I was like, I want to do my meditations on here this morning. I haven't done any meditations yet today. So I'll do my meditations on here. And then I'm going to go and pick some review video to do. And yeah, I'm so excited about today, you know, and just kind of hanging out and being with friends. It's such a beautiful fall day. It's one of those days that like starts off and it's in the late 50s, or the late 50s. It's in like the upper 50s, and then by the mid-afternoon, it's like in the, you know, low 70s. And in the evening's cool and chilly, and maybe I'll watch a scary movie and do a live stream or something tonight. I'm excited about today. It's nice to just, you know, be able to relax and not have a whole lot to do, but be able to do something fun. I am so excited about this festival today, or conference, I don't know what you call it. But anyway, okay, let's get into the meditations. The first meditation that I'm going to read, and this is the only one that I like opened and looked at, is the Meditations for Living in Balance, Daily Solutions for People Who Do Too Much by Ann Wilson Sheff. And I opened this and I saw the title of the meditation. I was like, this is great. I'm going to read this one today. And then the others, I'll just kind of randomly go through and pick. And this is kind of how I do it in the morning. I usually read straight through 5 or 6 books. And then, you know, first I do my prayers, and then I do my affirmations for the day, which is where I'll say things, you know, just positive affirmations about myself. And then I do a gratitude list, and then I sit with like a cup of coffee, and I just let the dogs run around the yard, and I read my meditations. And I usually read 5 or 6 of them. Some days, they all kind of, you know, I relate to all of them. Some days, I don't relate to any of them, and I'm like, okay, I need something else. You know, and then those are the days that I go to the books that I don't often read, and then it'll be crazy because like one will just like stick out, and I'll be like, oh, this is the one I needed to hear today. So it was funny when I picked up the first book. I had the book, the stack over there. I had the stack of books over there. And I picked the first one up, and it was Random Kindness, Senseless Beauty. And I opened it, and I thought, wow, like that's really a cool meditation to start your day off with. So let's read this. This is September 7th. Random Kindness, Senseless Beauty. Practice random acts of kindness and senseless acts of beauty. Anonymous bumper sticker. This bumper sticker appeared all over the country a few years ago, grabbing the imagination of everyone who saw it. What joy we find in random acts of kindness. Premeditated acts of kindness are fine too. They add a certain spring to our step. The randomness seems to transmute the kindness, adding a spontaneity that surprises even the doer. There is something playful about being spontaneous with our kindness that restores the innocence of childhood and the fun of being young. Whatever the chemistry of random acts of kindness, we benefit immeasurably from them. Senseless acts of beauty have the same restorative power. It is easy to become so routinized and sensible in our. It is easy to become so routinized. It is easy to become so routinized and sensible in our creation of beauty. Our gardens become organized. The art in our houses becomes stylized, and our clothes are coordinated. So true. What a release. What a release it is to practice senseless acts of beauty. One has the feeling of flying just from reading the words. I planted a cypress tree where it really doesn't belong. It's so beautiful. Open yourself to random acts of kindness and senseless acts of beauty. I won't make suggestions. That would destroy the randomness. You can do it. Keep your eyes and ears open for possibilities. Okay, this is so funny that this happened, right? So, I have candle waxes burning this morning, and I bought these. Where did I buy them from? One's called, I bought them at Meijer. I have so many candle waxes, but these are called like Harvest Time or Harvest Fall or something, so it smells so good in here. And the reason I did that was that we went over to Alex's aunt's house, Tia's house last night after dinner, and her house is like really cozy anyway, and it's always like spotless clean, and we were sitting in the living room as his grandma opened her birthday presents, and his Uncle Ed, who is just hilarious sense of humor, and he and I get along so well, he went outside and he like started this fire pit, and so he kept the back door open because it was a cool evening, but it was nice outside. So he had the back door open, and he has this beautiful patio that goes out in this huge backyard. And you could smell the fire pit inside. When I walked into the house, they had this huge, like, I mean, it was like this big, this plant of mums, and it was in like this like plastic, or not plastic, it was in this like wicker basket. It was beautiful, and I like put my head right in the mums and smelled them, and Alex was like, do they smell? And I was like, yeah, I love the smell of mums. They smell like fall, they smell like the earth, you know? And I was asking Ed, I said, you don't usually see people put mums inside their house. He's like, I know, but they're beautiful, aren't they? And they were just yellow and bright and beautiful. And I said, where did you get these? I'm always looking for good mums. And he said, I got them at Kroger. So I'm going to go to Kroger sometime this weekend and get some mums. And, but you know, like, it was the small things. Like his aunt had this like pumpkin candle burning on the stove, and then these huge mums and the smell of the fire pit outside. And it was like those things together. Just, we were sitting on the couch, you know, I had my head on Alex's shoulder, and his grandma was opening his presents, and everybody was laughing, and his brother Carlos was falling asleep in the middle of all of it in the recliner. And, you know, we just had a great evening. It was like those small little things, those small little like senseless pieces of beauty that just really brought the night together. And I can remember like when I was walking out the door last night, I like looked back at the mums because I like wanted to remember how pretty they were, and I wanted to remember to get some, you know, for my house. I love that. I love the idea of random acts of kindness, you know. I love even more random acts of kindness that are spontaneous, that we just, you know, think of off the whim. I think the other thing is not telling anybody when you do random acts of kindness. I think that's a huge thing. I've talked about that a lot on my videos. You know, I don't know that I really truly understood the definition of altruism until several years ago. And altruism is the act of kindness, but not telling anybody. It's like unselfishness, basically, you know. And you know, I talked on here about how my aunt, like when she passed away, like one of her friends spoke at her funeral and shared all of these things that she had done that I had no idea. Her own daughter didn't even know that she had participated in, and making these meals for people, and it was just all this incredible stuff, you know. I have been blessed to have many, I would say, sister mother mentors in my life, you know, that have taught me those kind of random acts of kindness. And definitely growing up with my mom and my aunt and one of my mom's closest friends. She was from a small town in Indiana, Mitchell, Indiana. And she like really did a lot of that. I remember she was one of our neighbors when we were growing up. And for whatever, whether it was a birthday or you were sick, she would, I mean, if you were sick, she literally brought over homemade chicken noodle soup. With the, I'm talking about, she made the noodles herself and everything. Later in life, she made a whole cookbook, and I have it in the kitchen. And she put a cookbook together of all of like her family, her aunts and her grandparents, like all of their recipes and stuff. You know, she would bring over on Halloween, like I remember we, you know, all the kids in the neighborhood, we would have a haunted house. And since it was just my mom and I, it was always our garage. And she would bring over this huge plate of cookies from Rosalind Bakeries and donuts and stuff. And always just, you know, if somebody died, you brought bread and you brought a casserole. And that was what I was taught, these random acts of kindness, of treating somebody the way that you would want to be treated. And I think that's really what it's about, you know. it's really so much easier than, you know, I really tried to be that in the last year. Just really small little things, whether, you know, and like this is where I don't want to get into it because I don't want to be like great person, you know, but where I just think about somebody, you know, like how, like just, I don't know, like a Starbucks gift card just makes somebody's day because they can go get a, you know, a cup of coffee or whatever, and just randomly doing that for friends of mine that I know, like, maybe don't do that for themselves. Like, that's the thing. Like, my friend Tanya, she is such a giver, and I do believe in life people are givers and takers, and she is such a giver that she never gives to herself very often. And so one of the things that has been like really cool with our friendship is that she will allow me to be one of those people to give to her. And it's not like I'm like, oh, you're so, you know, I don't really care about how I come across in that situation. I want my friend, my best friend, to be able to have moments where somebody gives to her, and she's finally comfortable enough after 23 years of a friendship, you know, to allow somebody to do that for her. And you know, she just gives and gives and gives to people constantly. And she is one of those people that, I was talking about this in my vlog last night, you know, that always her house was the focal point. She was making dinners for people. Just no questions asked. You know, people would stop by and she was feeding them, you know, rides, everybody. And she just is such a, you know, awesome human being. And I feel so blessed to have had mentors in my life that have taught me that. That, you know, like when somebody's going through, you don't ask. And this was a meditation on here, not like, I don't know, 6 months ago. That when somebody's going through something, you don't ask, what can I do for you? You just do it, you know? Like that to me is cool. And that's who I aim to be. I'm not 100% that person today, but that's who I aim to be. I want to be a better person and be that on a more regular basis. So that was a great meditation. And I think each of us can practice random acts of kindness on a daily basis. You know, it's just small things, you know, you can do. I remember, okay, so I used to like where I used to park always, it was a parking meter. And so, and it took coins. And I had heard this like on an Oprah or something that just like, you know, to fill it up. So whenever I would leave for the day and I would leave my space, I would fill it up with coins. Not always, but did I just say always? Often, I would put coins in it when I left, you know, so the next person didn't have to pay for parking and stuff like that. And they were so confusing to use anyway. I think people were probably just thankful for that, you know. But it was just something small because when I would show up and there was time left over in the meter, it made my day. If I knew that I could run in and do whatever and then I could come back out, I didn't have to pay for parking that day. Like that really made my day. Something so small, 75 cents, you know, really made my day. And then I started purposely keeping change in my car so I could do that, you know, and it was like a thought process. And then it's, like, I think a thought process, it's hard to talk about doing random acts of kindness without talking about them, so don't throw that in my face. But you can come up with your own. You know, there's tons of things that I've done that I don't ever tell anybody about, and there's tons of things you do that you don't tell anybody about. And I think that's the trick, you know? And even if you do have to tell somebody about it, you know, even if you do have to say to your husband or your wife tonight or your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, or friend, hey, let me tell you something I did today, you still did it. You know, you still did it, right? But I don't know, I think that's kind of not the point, but hey, you still did it. So anyway, okay. I will say this, actually, I kind of addressed this in my drama video yesterday, and somebody said to me, in talking about the nice acts that you do, like not me, but just indirectly, if somebody talks about what they did that was really nice, it might inspire other people to do the same. And I thought, you know, that's kind of an interesting point. I think that's kind of a good point. So, okay, let's pick another meditation. Let's see the Daily Book of Positive Quotations. Enjoying the detour, September 7th. Enjoying the detour. The really happy person is the one who can enjoy the scenery on a detour. Anonymous. I don't even need to read this meditation, and I agree with that, right? And you know what's so funny is today I am that person, but like years ago, I'd be like frantic. Like, well, when are we getting back on the main road? Where are we going? Where are we going? I was so distracted by all of that I missed the journey, you know? Oops, we've run into a detour on our way to where we had planned to go. We thought we were going to law school or culinary school or on a trip to Europe, but something happened, and now we find ourselves working and living in places we never dreamed of. Maybe someone close to us needed our help. Maybe our finances didn't work out the way we'd hoped. Maybe we unexpectedly fell in love. We can sigh over the plans that went awry, or we can be pleased about landing right where we are. Maybe we'll get back to those original plans, maybe not. Whatever we do, we're happy to be happy. Or whatever we do, we're going to be happy. Or we're happy to be happy, but it doesn't say that. I won't cry over, whatever we do, we're going to be happy. I won't cry over what seem to be missed opportunities. I'll value the opportunities I have instead. And you know, it's basically the story of It's a Wonderful Life, isn't it? You know, with Jimmy Stewart. I love that movie so much. I don't even really consider it necessarily a Christmas movie, but I love that movie. And I think that Nothing in my life has gone the way that I had planned it to go. None of it. You know, I mean, if you want to start with YouTube and go back up, we can, but let's go all the way back when I got sober, you know? Let's go all the way back to, I mean, I think there was a point in my life that I had planned that I would, you know, get married and have kids to a woman and get married and have kids and, I don't know, do something in publishing and I don't know. And I look at that life now and I know that some people live those lives and that for them makes them happy, but I'm glad that I, at least on some level, was able to tap into my authentic true self and be able to live the life that I needed to, no matter how difficult that was at times, you know? Coming out in 1990, I've talked a lot about it on my vlogs and on here and stuff. It wasn't easy, you know, and I actually had it a lot easier than most people did, and it wasn't easy, you know. I had parents and family that were completely accepting of it. I lived in an area of town that I didn't feel like I was in danger, you know, except for the danger that I was putting myself in with my own addiction. So, you know, I feel very, very blessed for my whole coming out process and that I was able to be authentic and then, you know, to myself. And then getting sober, you know, was another thing. Like, I never expected to get sober. I never expected for my drug and alcohol problem to be so out of control that I would need to get sober. And then for my sobriety to take me into working, you know, in the field of addiction. And then, you know, writing a book, to getting married, you know, to my husband, to being part of this amazing family that I'm part of, you know. Like, I never expected any of that. I never expected to be in Indianapolis till I was 47. Like, that's probably one of the biggest mysteries, you know? People that watch my vlogs know that my husband's wanted to move to Florida for a really long time, but it's actually me that wanted to move out of here long before I ever met my husband. When I was in high school, I was like, I'm the first one out of here. And I'm still here. And I don't, you know, like, I'm not sad about that. Like, I love Indianapolis. That's why I am still here. I'm ready to go and be what I call bi-coastal, and by coastal I mean by the coast in Florida and in Indianapolis. I'd like to have a place here and a place in Florida, and we are going to do that, you know? And I think that you have to just kind of buckle yourself in and get ready for what life presents to you. What I know today is that the things that came unexpected were the things that I have enjoyed the most in my life and that have had the most meanings. Had I never gotten sober, I would never have met the greatest friend I've ever had in my entire life. Had I not gotten sober, I wouldn't have the relationship I have with my dad and my stepmom, and I wouldn't have had the relationship I had with my mom. I wouldn't have met half the friends I have, and I wouldn't be with my husband right now. So life happened the way that it was supposed to happen, you know, and I don't cry out of sadness, I cry out of joy today, you know, like, I'm so blessed for that, you know. Every year on our sobriety birthdays, I always say that, you know, that I was promised that relationships and families would be repaired, and I was promised that, you know, financial insecurity would go away, and I was promised a lot of things if I got sober, but I was never promised a best friend for life, you know. That's a huge blessing. So a lot of people out there, a lot of people comment on my vlogs on a regular basis and they say, I have nobody to talk to. Your vlogs get me through the day. Thank you for that. And it makes me so sad. I feel so blessed that I have people in my life, you know, genuine quality people in my life. Not tons, but a few. And that's what matters the most. And, you know, and it makes me so much more grateful for it because I feel bad for people out there that don't have people, you know. I think it's sad. I think people in our life is sad. And I think that one thing that I've learned along this journey is, like, for example, I talk a lot about this in my vlog, probably one of the greatest memories in the last year that I've had, and at the end of the year, I think it'll be probably my favorite thing I did, and probably one of the favorite things I've ever done is judge the pageant this summer. And I met a really cool group of people, you know, and I had a really great time, and it was really important for me to step outside of my comfort zone and do something different. And that is sometimes taking us where the road leads us and going on the detour of life. That was not expected for me. That was something that just kind of randomly came up, you know? And me going with it and saying, okay, this is where I'm supposed to go now. And life for me, when I float down the river of life, it has so much to offer, you know? When I try to dictate where that river goes is when I start getting frustrated and angry and life doesn't go the way that I want it. I like to wake up today and be a little bit surprised. So since it's so early in the morning, I'm going to be surprised because I have an idea that a lot of really cool things are going to happen today. I hope so, at least. Anyway, and I try to live my life with hope on a daily basis and awe and wonder. And I try not to lose that childish awe and wonder on a daily basis and still have it as I look forward to the, you know, day to come. And I'm like, just like, I can't believe that I'm going to be sitting. I mean, I love the Saw. Saw. I do love that too, but I love the Scream franchise so much. I'm going to be sitting in front of Neve Campbell listening to them talk about, listening to the whole cast talk about, I said it, listening to the cast talk about Scream today. I cannot wait. I love Neve Campbell so much. You have no idea. I'm one of her biggest fans. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about those meditations. I think they're fantastic. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.